What up, YouTube? It's your boy Malt Frazier in the building. And look, we got to talk some NBA action, man. Last night marked the return of NBA on NBC for the first time since 2002. Now, the last time I remember watching NBA on NBC was through the movie Like Mike. It was Hannah Storm and Tom Tolbert on there. And as a young fan, watching NBA on NBC as a kid, I mean, it was so exciting. Like when that song would come on, you just got excited for the game, and every game felt like a big game on NBA on NBC. So it was great to finally have it back. Hear that theme song playing. We had some great games last night. Oklahoma City and Houston kicked it off, double OT. OKC ended up pulling that one out, and then the Warriors and the Lakers got busy. It's Warrior gang over here, so happy to see us start the season off 1-0. Now, the main event was, really had nothing to do with the games. It was about halftime and the return of Michael Jordan, his Airness, right? He's doing an interview series where he's going to be sitting down with Mike Tirico, and it's called The Return of MJ Insights to Excellence. Now, I'm really excited to have Michael Jordan back just because he's a huge figure, and we don't really see Michael Jordan a whole lot. For somebody as big as him, you really don't get to see him in the public eye a whole bunch. He makes his appearances here and there. You might hear about some new business deal he's got going, but Michael Jordan's pretty low key for somebody as big time as himself. So the fact that he's gonna be back in the basketball realm and be sharing his thoughts and opinions on things going on in the league, that's great for us as fans, but I think it's going to really do the game a lot of good. The game really needs Michael Jordan, right? Like they always say, Michael Jordan saved the NBA back in the day. And his return now, honestly, could be saving the league again, right? Like a lot of people will tune in to hear what Michael Jordan has to say about things. And in a lot of ways, whatever he does say is going to end up being law, right? Like who's really going to challenge Michael Jordan, as far as when it comes to basketball, right? Like, pretty much universally respected as the GOAT. Whether you think somebody's better or not, like he's still the standard, right? Like it's MJ. So definitely excited to see what this is going to be like throughout the year. But if you saw last night's episode, it was kind of a pilot episode, about 3-4 minute interview. And Michael Jordan is sitting down with Mike Tirico, and they're talking about the last time Michael Jordan touched a basketball. And actually, hold up, I want to shout out 7A Sports TV because he said something in one of his videos where he was talking about the interview, and he was saying it would have been really cool if they would have brought Ahmad Rashad back. And I thought that was like a great idea, man. Like I used to love watching inside stuff with Ahmad Rashad. Everybody did. Him and Michael Jordan were so close. It would have been dope if they could have brought Ahmad Rashad back. But Mike Tirico's cool too, so we rock with it. But they're talking about the last time Michael Jordan touched the basketball, and he was saying how he was staying at somebody's house, and they were asking him if he could shoot a free throw, and the guy's there with his kids, and Mike ends up going to shoot the free throw, and all of a sudden gets all nervous, and he wants to make these kids happy. Basically, they're all looking at him with the, oh my gosh, it's Michael Jordan eyes, and he's a hero, right? Like he was to a lot of us, and they want to be able to say that they got to see him make a basket, right? These kids is expecting him to be Air Jordan, from 30 years ago, and so he wants to make sure that he keeps that reputation for himself, for these kids essentially, right? And so all the nerves came. He obviously switched it like only Michael Jordan could, right? And the kids are excited, everybody's happy. But to me, the fact that that meant something to him, right? Like, man, I want to, make these kids happy. I want to make this free throw, and it's gonna make for a great story for the rest of their lives, right? And so I think that's something that's kind of missing from the game. Like I remember an old interview of Michael Jordan, and it was talking about how he always gave his best effort every time he got on the court because it was somebody's first time ever seeing him, or could be somebody's last time seeing him, and that's just kind of the mentality he had. He took pride in his work. He took pride in his craft. When he went on to the court, he knew it was a standard that he created that he had to live up to. And so, to look at the NBA now and see like what the All-Star game has become, it's a joke now, right? Like nobody plays hard at all. And I mean, back in the day, they didn't go hard the entire time, but it wasn't like a drag to watch, even when they were kind of just showboating and, just doing their thing. It was still exciting to watch. They were putting on a show. And now, you got guys playing harder in pickup games in the summer than they do in the All-Star game. And it's just like, for me, the All-Star game has created lifelong fans for the NBA. I'm one of them. I had the privilege of going to an event for, the All-Star weekend in 2000 when it was in Oakland. And I remember I was with a whole bunch of kids from my youth center, and we were all able to get customized jerseys from any team in the league and get our name on them. Now, in 2000, that was a big deal. And I really just started collecting jerseys that day, and I still collect them now. And I love the NBA from that day, you know. Um, and so for the All-Star weekend to be that influential and mean nothing, I think it just speaks to the mentality of, a lot of the players these days. And, a lot of people could learn from Michael Jordan. So having his voice, talking about having pride in your work, I think that's going to do the game a lot of good. In Michael Jordan's day, it meant something to be a competitor. It meant something to be the best amongst your peers. And that's what the All-Star game was about too, right? Like, this was the opportunity for us to see all the best players in the league play with each other and against each other. I want to see Kobe against Mike. I want to see Bron versus Kobe, whatever. I want to see them go at each other. Let's see who's the man. And to have guys shying away from that, like let's just kind of keep it cute. We don't want to embarrass nobody out here. Like, man, it's just we got to get that soft mentality out of our game. And I think this is a step in that right direction. Maybe Mike, anything he say gonna be law basically, right? So they got him speaking on load management next week, which I think that's a great topic to dive into. So I'm excited to see what Michael Jordan's gonna have to say about that in the series as a whole. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about the return of MJ and how you feeling about the return of NBA on NBC. I'm loving what I saw so far, and I think it's gonna be a great year. So holla at me in the comment section, and I'll holla at y'all soon. Malt Frazier out. Peace.